Hello and welcome to another edition of our flagship evening show called The Dugout. As always, we are live today. Also, quite a healthy strength of 5 people, but there weren't too many people when it came to the contenders for the next chief selector for the Indian cricket team. So what we're confirming to you right now, though this has been confirmed in the last few days based on sources and good intel from inside, that Ajit Agarkar, till now it was the favorite and he will be the next chief selector, was known for the last few days. It had been reported on various platforms like, let's say, Sportstak, on certain websites, on PTI, wherever. But what we can tell you now is that he's now certain to be the chief selector, because today were the interviews and there was only one candidate that was interviewed. So there was nobody else that was interviewed, and that maybe as we go along. So once there is only one candidate to interview, then it's pretty much a done deal that he then becomes the chief selector. We'll explain in detail what happens to the zone and all of that later. But just so that I'm not wrong in that, the one thing that we're confirming is that only one candidate was interviewed. His name was Ajit Agarkar, and now because you're only filling that one spot, so it's just as simple as that person is going to be the chief selector. And the news is that he is now going to chair the next selection committee meeting, which is going to be tomorrow, to pick the Indian T20 squad for West Indies. If you remember, they had announced the ODI squad as well as the Test squad, no T20 squad. So Ajit Agarkar is the next selector. Now my only thing is that there could be two reasons why he's the only candidate that was interviewed. One, there is a cutoff in terms of the number of matches you've played or not. So anyone who does not make that cut is not eligible. Then on top of that, if let's say you make the cut, can there also be a decision that the BCCI can take whether you want to interview a person or not? Let's say if I make the cut and I have played those 30 first class matches and 4 ODIs, whatever the cut is, but maybe my candidature is not accepted by the BCCI, can they choose not to interview me?
Yes. So basically you have the CAC, the Cricket Advisory Committee, which currently has Ashok Malhotra, Sulakshana Nayak and Jatin Paranjpe, these 3 people. So once you apply, for example, 5 of us have applied for the post of that vacant position for the selector. So if 5 of us have applied, the CAC,
and all 5 are making the basic criteria.
So because they've the BCCI, the statement, in fact, the release that they had issued, that they are inviting applications for the post of selector. So they had already made it very clear what the criteria is. Now the thing is that the CAC will get the shortlisted candidates, not all. For example, if 50 people have applied, so what you are saying is that the CAC today got just one name, that was Ajit Agarkar.
Yeah, they only, I don't know about that, but what I can confirm is that they only interviewed one person, and his name was Ajit Agarkar.
I think on 22nd, if I'm
today,
not,
I'm just talking about today.
But it was already a done deal. Ajit Agarkar, Ajit Agarkar was being looked at as the next chairman of the selection committee ever since that post got vacant following Chetan Sharma's resignation, I think in the month of February or March, during that Delhi test match. So I think on 22nd of last month this meeting happened, where they arrived, or they zeroed in on Ajit Agarkar as the next chairman of the selection committee. Now things, I think Siddharth was earlier asking that would this be the first time that you'll have 2 selectors from the same zone. I think we'll have to look back at a lot of things. My memory is not that great, but yes, this time you will have 2 selectors from the same zone. From West zone you will have Salil Ankola, who is already there, and then Ajit Agarkar will also join the selection committee as the chairman from the same zone. So now what happens is, what the BCCI now has done is that they renew the contract after every year. So Salil Ankola's contract expires on 7th or 6th of January. So that contract, maybe he'll have to step down and somebody from North Zone will apply and will join the committee. And Ajit Agarkar, I think the biggest debate was for all these years that we've been saying that you should increase the salary cap for the selectors.
Selector, yeah.
So in this case now, it will actually increase. So Ajit Agarkar will get somewhere around 2.5 crores annually. The existing salary cap is 1 crore for the chief selector and 90 lakhs for the other rest of the 4 selectors. So that ways Ajit Agarkar's annual salary will also increase, and in times to come you will see that the salary cap for the other selectors will also be increased.
But one thing that comes to my mind, and this is something that was being said when the post of the chief selector was vacant for a long time, what many people were saying was that you need somebody who comes in with that big player reputation or big former player reputation, somebody who can not just fill in the shoes of the chief selector but also with that big name have, let's say, the courage at times to take hard calls as well. Does Ajit Agarkar then fit that bracket?
I have worked with him extensively. So firstly, one thing is that you kept talking about how many matches has he played?
I think he's played 26 test matches and close to 200 ODIs, 191 to be precise, if I'm not wrong.
So that in itself, there is no now issue in terms of how many games he's played. He is a World Cup winner. He was part of the 2007 squad, T20 World Cup squad. Didn't get too many games, that's another matter, but was part of that World Cup squad. So
26 tests, we'll just read that out to you. As Rahul said, 191 ODIs
and a few T20s also.
Four.
So in terms of that is clearly close to about 120 odd international matches for India.
220.
220 odd international matches for India. So that itself now in terms of the number of matches he's played, there's no debate. Now Ajit Agarkar, the person, he's he has an opinion, and he is a strong-headed person. He's not going to in certain times just because chalta hai, you guys want this, I want that, it can be done. No, he'll have an opinion, and he's going to be very strong in his opinion. So he's a strong-headed guy. He follows a lot of cricket, and there's no, I don't have to tell you that because he's played more than 200 games, I don't need to tell you how much he knows about the game, but he follows a lot of cricket and extensively. So in that sense, and has an opinion, and is a strong-headed person. So that's what you were looking for, right? If you were looking for a chief selector like that, everyone kept saying, right, have a guy who can take a hard call, have a guy who, if he takes a call, nobody can really question him. So he's got that stature. He, as I said, has got a mind of his own. He's not going to get swayed by just 3-4 other people. He'll think on his own. He'll have his own opinion, and then look at merit and demerit of having someone. Because as I said, I've spent time with him as a cricket analyst, and I know he has a very sharp cricketing brain. So all of that then will now hopefully translate into the Indian team selection. There's one more thing I wanted to check, and maybe all of you can help, because this is what we're confirming, that nobody else was interviewed. But I want to know, and as Rahul pointed out, that some people may have wanted to be, but the CAC Cricket Advisory Committee can also then decide who to call and who not to, and eliminate few people. They have the ability to do that. But my point is, were there more people interested, is what I want.
I think you would remember we've been talking about Ajit Agarkar for quite,
because they were talking about Vengsarkar, Ravi Shastri.
Yes.
Because if they had thrown their hat into the ring, there's no way that they wouldn't have been called for.
See, as far as Ravi Shastri is concerned, I know his name was also doing the rounds, but at this stage, in fact, this time around, no, he wasn't. But I remember, and in fact I had asked him, this was somewhere around January, when we were quite sure that the BCCI was ready to pay him a decent amount. When I say decent, it was quite a hefty amount to to Ravi Shastri.
Was it more than what we're looking at right now? for
Obviously,
Ajit?
Ravi
yeah,
Shastri any day. Ravi Shastri, you'll have to pay him quite a lot. Quite a lot.
Just to let you know, as a broadcaster, he wouldn't be earning anything less than 5-6 CR a year.
Oh, yeah.
That's the bare minimum, I think.
Yeah,
by
and I'm
scratching.
just being like,
I can't
be
say
eight, I don't know.
I can't
Yeah.
say about the exact amount, but I have to say that he has to be the highest paid commentator anywhere, whoever it may be. So I can see, we know who's getting how much for a
yearly
day.
you're talking about
for
or per day? May not be
I'm
per
talking about per day. Why? Because see, you also have to see how many days you are doing. For example,
yeah.
you can do 100 days.
yeah,
Okay, maybe Ravi Shastri is doing just 50 days for them.
could be.
But he's
per
charging
day,
somewhere
if you're
around
gonna
10
look at
lakhs.
Per day, he may not be number one. Per day. But
Are you
I'm
talking
saying-
about Virendra Sehwag?
No, there are many more. Many more. I don't want to take names, but there are many more, which I will discuss after. But I'm just saying. But all I'm saying is, am I incorrect to say a minimum of 5-6 CR you're looking at a
Yeah.
year just for
So at that time we were pretty sure. In fact, I was very sure that he was offered and his name was being considered. In fact, he was spoken to about this. But I asked him, and he said, no, I have not been approached. And I don't know whether that was right or whether he was saying the truth or not. But I'll go by what he said at that time, that he was not approached. But as far as I remember, he was.
approached.
Yeah.
But what we are confirming here with like great degree of certainty that nobody other than Ajit Agarkar was interviewed. Why I'm discussing that is because I'm trying to guess there must have been more people who would be like keen, right? So either a lot of people don't when they know.
Nikhil, the decision.
If you are reporting for let's say 1 week that Ajit Agarkar, if the decision has been made, then a lot of people who are keen also will pull out. Is what I'm trying to say. Right?
Can
Will pull
anybody
out of
tell me the exact date when this BCCI, when did the BCCI invite the applications?
I'll be on the.
But then because see, Ajit Agarkar, it was decided that Ajit Agarkar will be your next chairman of the selection committee. I think today is 4th.
4th July.
So 4 plus 7. I think somewhere around 2 weeks back. It was decided that Ajit Agarkar will be your.
That is what I'm trying to get to. So is it possible that if today
And the
there
moment-
there is a gentleman who qualifies and wants to.
Oh, June 22.
Yes.
Okay.
So about it's more than a week.
12 days. 12 days.
More
12 days.
So I think a couple of weeks back it was already decided, more than a couple of weeks back it was already decided that Ajit Agarkar will be your next chairman of the selection committee. And also, with Ajit Agarkar, I think, we all know that he had applied earlier also, and when he didn't make the cut, because last time he wasn't even shortlisted, if you remember.
That's because Mumbai Cricket Association.
He
weren't
didn't
happy
get
with
along.
his candidature.
Yeah, he didn't get along too well with the MCA people, and Chetan Sharma was appointed as the chief selector. Because see, if Ajit Agarkar would have been there, he would have been the chairman of the selection committee, and Chetan Sharma would still have been part of that committee, not as the chairman of the selection
Because
committee.
chairman is the one who's played, who has got the most
Yes.
experience, and
Yeah.
so there his numbers would trump.
And
that
even
of
the
Chetan
first
Sharma.
sign also came, remember when Delhi Capitals made that announcement. We wish Ajit
No,
Agarkar
that was
success.
later. That happened just
That happened
a few
just
days
about
back.
5 days back.
That gave a lot of credence, wasn't that? Maybe
Yeah,
yes.
it just added on.
It just
to the
added,
news that was
added
on.
more fuel to the speculation, let's say.
Yeah.
But news coming in at the moment that he was the only one interviewed today, and all likelihood he will
Not
be.
all likely. Then what's the option? He is the next chairman. of
He is,
Selector
he
now.
is, he
We're
is.
just awaiting, let's say, formal confirmation.
And also, the
But only
moment.
one person interviewed. then he
And
is.
also the moment these kind of stories start doing the rounds, what usually happens is people also think that why should I apply?
Exactly what
And
I
it
was
has
asking.
happened in the
Is
past also.
It did. Is that the reason that he was the only one today being interviewed? That because the news was already out that maybe they've made up their mind that he will be, and so if that was the case, a lot, or not a lot, maybe 2-3 other people who may have thought that they can apply also pull out now
I think
of the race.
most of the people pull out.
Most of
of the people, most of the people don't even apply. First, they, At times, usually what happens is, like in this current existing selection committee, a lot of people have applied. A lot of people were asked to apply. You don't apply, you are asked to apply.
Wow. But
Yeah, because if you remember, there was this one time and it happened with the coaches as well. Sehwag was one of the guys. He went and gave the interview that happened in Mumbai. And that was the same selection where Ravi Shastri joined from a holiday while he was in
was
Thailand.
it to for Duncan Fletcher's replacement at
Yes,
that time?
he was in
He was in Thailand.
And
That
so he
was, so we're
joined
talking
from
about
there.
2018.
14.
14 or so. Yeah.
14, 15.
Okay, okay,
Because-
yeah.
Because remember, Fletcher's contract was not renewed. So that's why, you remember Saurav Ganguly, VVS and Tendulkar are part of the CAC, I guess. in that-
CSE, yeah.
At that time. I think Ganguly took Shastri's interview, but that was where they had a
No,
follow.
Ganguly
That
was
was in
not
2014.
Wasn't 14.
There. Yeah, it was 14.
It was 14, 15.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it
around
was
Fletcher's
around
time, when
that
after
time.
the England tour.
Yeah, it was around that time where it happened in Mumbai, and I travelled to Mumbai for that. And Saurav Ganguly was there, VVS Lakshman, Saurav Ganguly,
And Sachin
And Sachin Tendulkar, yeah.
Whereby the issue cropped up is that Saurav wasn't there while Ravi Shastri's interview happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was upset about
So
that.
when Ravi Shastri came out, he was asked a few questions. He said, "I don't know where he was." Anyways, so and Saurav Ganguly, what he said, if he was so serious about the interview, he
Yes.
should have been physically present here
Yep.
for the interview and not holidaying in some of those beaches in Thailand.
And yet Ravi Shastri was, after this entire controversy, you would have thought that somebody else would have been picked. But yet Ravi Shastri was made the coach of the Indian team. So what that tells you is that a lot of times interviews happen, but the decision may have been made before that, and probably in this case there is no scope for any speculation, because in that scenario there were multiple people at least interviewed and then you picked one. In this scenario there was nobody else but Ajit, so there is no other option.
But I think the bigger question is, will things change? And most likely, see, I don't know if we can gauge a lot of things that will happen under Ajit Agarkar as the chairman of the selection committee in times to come, with the T20 squad that is going to be announced tomorrow. So, will you actually gauge a lot, because this is T20 a priority for you now?
Not so much, but I'll tell you, it's going to be a very important selection, because it will now tell us under the new, and I think that's why they announced it a day before the selection meeting, and I think that is why they did not announce the T20 squad when they announced the ODI and the Test squad for West Indies, because they wanted the new chairman of selector. And maybe under the new chairman of selector, you will now see where the T20 team goes, and which is why I think it's going to be a very crucial meeting. I agree with you that this is not the T20 squad looking ahead to the T20 World Cup. So it's the ODI World Cup here. So you are only looking at ODI team, but it is going to show you which direction your T20 team is going to go. Whether
How?
So let's say you select the team.
Okay.
And the T20 team maybe brings back a few senior players,
Like
who weren't playing T20 cricket,
like Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you really think that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli will be out of contention for the 2024 T20 World Cup?
No, may not be, but I'll tell you at least what you will know. Assuming, okay, I'll give you a scenario. Assuming that tomorrow's team is decided under the new chairman, and your senior players are not there. Okay, you've gone in with a young team and with a younger captain in Hardik Pandya, because that's what you've done in T20 cricket. If you go with that, then it's a kind of an indication that under the new chairman of selector also, this is the kind of way forward for Indian team. But in case if it's the other way around and you have, let's say, Rohit come back as captain and Virat also part of the team, and you know that the seniors come back. KL is not fit, so I'm not including him now.
Fair
but
enough.
assuming he was, then I know that okay, for 2024 T20 World Cup, nobody is completely out, and this is. Then it will pretty much tell me that this will be the team that
nobody is out. Trust me.
I know, but
either Rohit,
team, then they're 100% there at 2024.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
either
saying.
either both of them or at least one of them will 110% play the 2024 T20 World Cup, and I can give it to you in writing today. Even trust me,
That's a big call. I'm not sure.
I am 110% sure.
I'm not sure.
Either both of them, both of them will be available, and one of them will also make the cut. And trust me, and this will happen. I know I'm.
I'm
This
not
is
100% sure with that. It will also depend on your T20 results.
maybe that's my guess, but
But okay, what the selection will tell you, let's say if the seniors are back in the West Indies selection, then though I'm 100% with you that 100% they will play 2024 T20 World Cup irrespective of anything. Because see,
but
what will you do? Bilateral series only. Na?
but they
Bilateral
don't need
series
to
you will be
play.
winning
They
it.
don't need to play or be part of this T20 squad
You're saying
against
yet
West
they
Indies.
could come.
Yeah.
No, but if they are,
For sure.
I'm saying then it's a no-brainer.
100%.
It's a 100% thing.
I think
that
all those calls will
But if
have
they are not there,
all
then
those
it's-
calls will have to be taken after the ODI World Cup, because as it is
Because-
today, T20 is not your priority. Your priority
No,
Because
but
today.
it will
after
indicate
this-
a few things to you.
after this
Because
fight
you're telling me
T20
you
I'm
won't-
saying
you
because
won't
you-
read anything into the T20 selection.
I'll tell you why, because after the T20, after the ODI World Cup this year, the word's already out that you're looking at, let's say, radical changes as far as Indian cricket is concerned. Also, you will be looking at those series. You're going to be playing a lot of series, let's say from November all the way till March, April next year. You're going to be seeing a lot of more T20 cricket being played. So, what happens in this series and in the Ireland series as well, remember, I'm not too sure if a lot can be made out of the
We
squad selection.
judge a lot of things on the basis of how players perform in the IPL. What if Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli had a pretty good season this year also.
Yes.
What if Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli both have an incredible season in the IPL next year? What if?
No, you will start talking about it. But you're telling me, let's say if the team is announced, tomorrow we are sitting here in the dugout, the team is announced, we're discussing, and assuming senior players are not picked, are you not going to read anything into it?
Then-
If they are picked, aren't you
No,
going to read
no, but
anything into
why
it?
are we reading into it today? If the selectors
Because
see,
that's our job now.
no, I'm saying why today? Because the selectors had already dropped them from the T20 setup or the
Yeah, but
squad
now new chairman of
months
selector.
ago.
Previous regime.
New chairman of
Yeah.
selectors, you're going to be watching it.
But 4 of these selectors were still there when, not 4 by the way,
Then there
that
were
was a
many
different
saying that
setup.
these 4 selectors
It wasn't those many.
were told what to.
But
you know,
that-
but with
that
the
is-
new chairman of selectors,
So that's what
a
I'm
man
saying.
of stature,
No, that's what I think,
now it may not be the same.
I don't have a problem. What will change? A lot of people would be asking, Ajit Agarkar aa gaye, to bhai, what will change? So I am saying, if the team management, Rahul Dravid, Rohit Sharma, or whoever is the captain, if he says, I think what has to change is that in 2021 World Cup, when the Indian team failed miserably, they didn't even make the cut for the
Playoffs.
For the semi-finals also. Again, the team management came and asked some players and said, this is what we want. This is. So I want, if you have failed, questions should be asked. Why did Yuzi Chahal not play a single match in that 2022 T20 World Cup? What is the logic behind dropping Yuzi Chahal in the? Why did you drop Yuzi Chahal in 2021 World Cup? Why did no one ask a question to the team management that what was the reason why Ashwin didn't play the this World Test Championship final? What were the reasons you chose to play? In fact, you chose to field. And Umesh Yadav, was he fit? All these things. I think questions have to be asked. It's not that, a team meeting happens, Rahul Dravid comes there and just hijacks the meeting and everybody is just mum. Nobody is saying anything. Rahul Dravid is saying, I want this, I want that. No, that will not happen. We want this guy. And khatam. Meeting over.
That's what I'm saying. That is what is going to change now.
So, see,
Which is why when you see the T20 selection, maybe it will give you some answers.
but I think Ajit Agarkar's role right now will only be limited. Will it be limited only and only to T20 World Cup? See, as of now, I think Rahul Dravid, if he is the head coach and his contract ends at the end of this ODI World Cup, I think Rahul Dravid will go after you. He will demand things and you will have to fulfill those demands because it is his job on the line.
Yeah,
His job is on the line, and he'll say, even if he has to go to a war against the selectors, he will demand things, he will demand players.
No, but I'm saying, how is that thing shifted from the captain demanding? I mean, previously captains also demanded.
Same thing.
Whatever they wanted, they got, because their head was on the chopping block. Whether it was MS Dhoni, whether it was Saurav Ganguly before that, they all got. I mean, MS himself has been very candid enough to accept that he got a few seniors out of the team. This is something that he's really put it out himself in his film. You can see in various other platforms. So he did. I'm saying there is nothing wrong with it, because if you've given a coach and the captain the responsibility of taking the team forward, and they see things differently, they have to, because at the end of the day, their head will be on the chopping block. But what I'm saying is, Ajit Agarkar, for whatever little I know him, won't be the guy, as you said, that the list is made, you sign it. He won't be the guy. If you are asking about those questions, he probably will ask those questions.
That is exactly what I want.
That why is this happened? Okay, you asked for such and such player, for such and such series, but he hasn't done really well. And in which case, we had selected a such and such player. Why did he sit on the bench for so long? Why did you not think of it? He will definitely ask those questions.
Because I don't want, and I don't think this should happen, that selectors and the team management, they both are at loggerheads. I don't want that to happen. They have to, I think it has to be constructive criticism, even if there is, if Ajit Agarkar or the selection committee. Today, Shiv Sundar Das, how do you expect a Shiv Sundar Das to argue with Rahul Dravid? Can you even imagine?
But actually, it shouldn't be a criteria for not arguing. I know what you're saying.
I agree.
Yeah, I get the point.
But Nikhil, you will have to empower Shane Dias to go and argue with some.
He does argue here.
Not here.
We don't stop
somebody him. From the. You will have to empower. No, I am saying this authority. So that's why it's a paid job. Earlier it was selection committee or selector. It was not a paid job. Now you've made it a paid job. You have an accountability associated with it. But so is with the players, the team, everybody. So I am saying, if there is accountability associated with every position, be it the captain, coach, selector, everybody, then questions have to be asked. I hope this selection committee under Ajit Agarkar asks those questions from the team management. Why did this happen? Earlier, I remember every tour India would fail, there would be a story. BCCI will review, manager's report will.
Manager's report, yeah.
अब तो वो भी नहीं आती. अब तो stories भी नहीं आती.
Tour report.
I mean, it's.
No, but I'm saying interesting point that Rahul mentioned. But who's to say that the selectors, or let's say Shiv Sundar Das, at the moment isn't empowered enough? Is it something not existent in the constitution of the BCCI? Is this something, you would want to believe that a selector is powerful enough or is empowered enough?
You're saying an idealistic thing.
I agree.
It's not happening.
But then
nobody's telling you it's not happening.
What can be done then? As the chief selector, is the chief.
That's why Ajit Agarkar is there.
They've done that.
That's why Ajit Agarkar is there.
A man with much more experience, and it's kind of come a full.
Not only experience, I'll also say personality.
Personality, yeah. And also, we are talking about West Indies being like, you remember last year T20 selection, what happened? We saw Ravichandran Ashwin parachuted, and he made the cut to the T20 World Cup. Now,
and he played.
And he
didn't get.
Now we are going to see 5 T20.
He got against Zimbabwe. Let's be fair.
But at that time, team management had asked for an off spinner. Washington Sundar wasn't available.
Yes.
Who you tell me?
No other option.
There was no.
But I agree. Ashwin would have been the choice.
So see, you've got 8 T20Is now. 5 in the West Indies, 3
no, but
in.
if they got a off spinner, that they wanted it, and that may have been situation specific, right? I'll give an example. I'm going to Rohit Sharma as the captain. When he captains Mumbai Indians, he has an off spinner also, Ritik Shauki. Now they had Jayant Yadav earlier. But it's not that they play every game. In games where he thinks that he needs an off spinner, too many left-handers, they would give. I remember with Delhi Capitals, they would have this strategy.
Yeah.
Jayant Yadav wouldn't play.
He played the final. Final, remember that season.
So when the need was, what I was surprised was with that, if that is the strategy, which I agree, which are matchups you look at, then it could have been done at the T20 World Cup also. When you really needed an off spinner, you bring an off spinner. But to have it consistently and not play a leggy, that was surprising.
That matchup was applicable very much in the WTC final also.
And
You had
And you didn't play.
5 left-handers in the
Yes.
opposition side.
And 3 hurt you.
And as it is, you have a pool of 18 to 21 players ready, and even the selectors, even if they have to pick a squad for the ODI World Cup, the players will come from that very pool. You won't find a name who you thought that would be a surprise to everybody. So there's not much to choose from, to be very honest. And firstly, for Ajit Agarkar and his team, the committee, the bigger challenge is what is the status of the players who are injured? Where is KL Rahul's injury status? Where is Shreyas Iyer, Jasprit Bumrah,
Prasidh Krishna.
so many players.
And also, this
Because
current
Prasidh
regime.
Krishna, I remember, they were getting him ready, grooming him for the ODIs only.
They took him to England.
England tour, he was there. Zimbabwe tour.
To Zimbabwe too. He played a lot of ODIs. Yes. Boom.
But then see, this when Ajit Agarkar is now in, he will have to deal with 2 things: workload management and player rotation. Now, the T20 selection, what will happen? Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and the likes will play 2 tests and 3 ODIs. That's a guaranteed. Will they be included in a different format which is not important this year? 5 plus 3, 8 T20Is you're playing. After that, you are only playing ODIs until November.
I'm saying if you are Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, and if you have ambitions to play the next T20 World Cup, which I believe they do, is what I'm. And of course, it's their personal careers. They have the right to choose what they want, and then who selects them is up to the selectors, right? But you can have the ambition to do whatever. So I'm guessing that Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli at the moment have ambitions to play. So if they do, and if I am putting myself in their shoes, then I would want to be selected for the West Indies T20s.
My
But if you
bet
don't
is
select me, then you're giving me a kind of a message.
maybe if they are not selected for the South Africa T20Is, that happens.
Why?
Which
That is the end of the year.
no. But again, January till June.
I will exactly.
It's
I will
T20
look,
year.
I will look at that as a much bigger indicator
Yes,
of things to come
exactly.
than let's say the series happening
Exactly.
before the Asia Cup.
If you're not selected for
But
South
I can
Africa,
give an example. Had these senior players rested from the test squad also, then I wouldn't have read too much into the T20 squad. The fact that they're going there to even play test cricket, which again is not the most important series, it's just the start of the cycle, you're not under pressure, you're not playing the most important team in the world or conditions where you really need them, yet they're going there, right? So that tells me that they want to be continuously part of Indian cricket and want to play on. And then you don't select them in the T20 squad. Don't tell me that there is no indication there. There
is a message.
There will be a message.
There is a message, and we know how it was conveyed also. And obviously, both Virat, KL Rahul, and Rohit Sharma, all 3 of them, they wanted to be part of that T20 squad when it was announced again.
New Zealand.
I think for Sri Lanka. At
New
home.
Zealand, Sri
That was
Lanka,
the
New Zealand.
First
at
they went
home.
to New Zealand, just
Yeah,
after
the World
T20
Cup.
No, that though I'm not even, because
But that's when they made Hardik the captain. And he
because
was-
but at that time both Rohit and Virat, they had already, I think, made it clear that they are not traveling. It was just
there
that
was a
Rahul.
rest.
That was background management.
Because at that time they wanted KL Rahul to be appointed as the captain of the T20, and Rohit Virat would just come back to India from where was the World Cup? Australia. So Sri Lanka was the first time when India played after the World Cup, when they played played a T20 international series again. That was at home, and that is when Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, and Virat Kohli were dropped, quote unquote. Were dropped. Nobody will say, because even if you, and the other thing, basically, why we speculate or people speculate so many things. I think the best way to deal with it is to hold press conferences.
Yeah.
Which is now
Non-existent.
It's
passe, indeed.
You won't know any press conference with this also. It's just that we are reporting that
Exactly.
he's the next selector.
The press
Nobody else
conference
was
now
interviewed.
thing of the past.
It'll just be a release we'll do.
So I just hope,
But
because
Ajit Agarkar to the press conference would be good.
Nikhil, everybody can hold.
Would have been, yeah.
Everybody.
Actually, they did with Chetan Sharma briefly. but
Exactly.
Briefly, that
they-
one-
Because-
MSK Prasad
and
heard
that
about
was
them.
selective, huh? When you wanted him
was
to
a
come before the media
press.
and answer a few questions, you just asked him, please go and address the media. I don't think any
tough job in that situation.
I think
Thankless more than tough.
I think the last to hold was Dilip Vengsarkar.
he only earned. Sorry.
No, MSK Prasad.
MSK Prasad after Ganguly and Kohli, na?
No, that was Chetan.
No, Chetan Sharma
Chetan-
addressed, I think the first press conference that he had was just before the 2020, when
World Cup.
2021 World Cup squad
Yeah.
was announced.
TV show if you.
Okay.
Yeah. But you guys can
So,
carry on. Just few more questions. You can
it was announced, and then on 31st of December 2021, the second press conference. I think thereafter just one more. So and it's not a big deal. You took a call, you took a decision, and there must have been some logic, or you must have discussed amongst yourself. So you can always, if I ask a question, I think it's not a big deal that you can't answer that question. I think everybody can.
Yep.
Chalo, anyways, we can take a few
Speaking of
questions.
questions, yeah, we can take a few questions from our family members as well.
Yep. Palash Swami is saying Tilak Verma is not part of the India emerging Asia Cup squad. I think he's definitely going to the West Indies for the 5-match T20Is. Possible, very much.
Sorry?
He's saying Tilak Verma is not there in the emerging Asia Cup
Asia Cup.
squad. So he looks at it as an indicator, Palash Swami,
That he
that
could
he
be
will
heading to the West
on
Indies.
the flight to the West Indies for the T20 series over there. Could
Yep.
be.
What that means is that Riyan Parag is definitely not getting selected for the West Indies tour. Huh?
Exactly.
Achha, Vignesh Konar is saying many people are jealous of Mumbai cricket dominance, but appointment of Ajit Agarkar and Amol Majumdar shows how much quality Mumbai cricket system has. Maybe Amol Majumdar, by the way, now that he has mentioned his name, let me tell you that Amol Majumdar is going to be your next head coach of the senior women's team.
Yeah.
So he will also join, in fact not join, he'll be the head coach.
Yep.
I think that announcement officially will be made on 7th of this month. That is day after, no?
No,
Today is 5th?
3 days
No,
later.
today
Today is 4th. Okay, today is
The day
4th.
after, day after.
Now Chandresh is
Day
saying, should
after.
Dravid be made director of cricket and not head coach? A position that Ravi Shastri held. And when so he can.
We don't have a permanent director of cricket.
No,
post.
we
could.
interim. We've had in the past.
Like
but
what Andrew Strauss was to the ECB, right? Director of cricket.
I think actually, you should have a
Rob Key is
foreigner
now.
Rocky. Yeah.
as your director of cricket operations, or I don't know. Chandresh is a huge fan of Rahul Dravid. He just believes that there is nothing on earth that Rahul Dravid cannot do.
Cannot do. Okay. Really nice. So yeah, Mumbai cricket is really making a kind of a comeback if you look at, because it was held by Karnataka for a very long time, the dominance. We looked at selection and all those things. Now the
And
Mumbai
domestic glory too.
Exactly. Now Mumbai cricket is making a big comeback in that way. Salil Ankola, Amol Majumdar now.
Salil Ankola though is the West Zone. You had to pick a
You have to
selector
pick
from the West
someone,
Zone. no?
Yeah. And you got Ajit Agarkar now, so that's great. Any other questions, Anurag? Wait, go down. Okay, there's something. Tanua Jan UK is saying we want 2 left-handers in Indian ODI team in the top 6. We had 3 in 2011 World Cup. Why can't India try Tilak Verma and Jaiswal in ODIs in Asia Cup?
Yeah, I think it's too late to be trying to tinker with the ODI side now.
Now.
You can't. If this call had to be taken, it needed to be taken last year.
Yes, I think now you're not tinkering with the ODI squad but again, we don't know the status of Shreyas Iyer's injury.
You don't
And
know.
KL Rahul's injury
So
also.
what you're getting to hear is that neither of them are going to be ready for the Asia Cup, which actually means a massive headache, because that's your number 4 and number 5 out injured. Okay, fine, you have a Sanju Samson who can slot in for either, but then who's your option number 2?
And you have somebody who you've tried, you've given some faith. Sky.
Not
but
working
that's
out.
not paid
But
out.
maybe if it works out in the West Indies series, it's a relief for India, if it works out. But again, lot of questions. I mean, the West Indies T20 selection is the only the tip of the
Ultimate
iceberg.
barometer.
Ajit Agarkar and the selection panel now have much more complicated things to do in the coming months. Asia Cup team selection.
But why complicated thing? I'm telling you, see, firstly you will get the fitness report of all these players. You'll have to see if they are fit or not. Secondly, the pool has already they've already pruned this list or the pool of players to around 21 to 18 players. You are not going to select anybody from outside that list.
Yes.
So, I understand, yeah.
So
you
that's
can,
the thing, that there's a draft ready already.
yeah, because you've been working with
Those set of players.
the same set of
yes.
players. No, so you won't get, today you would say, oh, this man is, he's got a he's got great talent. Let's get him into the ODI setup and let him play the ODI. That's not going to happen. You will have the players who've been playing, who are there
In your mind.
mind and vision.
Yeah, man.
In that case, suppose for instance a Sky doesn't work out.
Sorry,
Suppose a Surya Kumar Yadav.
I'm
at
sure
number
Sky
4.
is there.
No, he's
He is
100%
there.
there. He's there.
If he doesn't, you have an option. You will have an option for it.
I'm trying to wonder who that option would be.
From that list of 21 players.
Yep. So, Abhinav Gupta is saying, please also discuss women's cricket squad. So many surprising omissions. Okay, Abhinav Gupta, we already did a story on that. But how can we discuss something when the BCCI themselves have not given any legitimate reason as to why they have been dropped? The likes of Radha Yadav, the likes of Richa Ghosh,
Renuka.
Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Renuka Singh, all who performed well until the T20 World Cup,
Just out.
they are just out. No reason has been given for their omission. So without any, if we have a point that the BCCI have said, then we could have said something about and discussed it in depth. But they haven't given a single statement on it. Just dropped. That's it. We can't discuss anything. Anything we discuss after that will be hearsay or whataboutery. That's about it. Anything else, Anurag? Yep. No, we took that, Vignesh, I think.
I took that.
Yeah. Yep, I don't think we have anything else. Okay, Naman Kanpal, that is a different debate altogether. $1 million question.
No way.
Who is number 4 in ODI World Cup? Iyer, Sky or back to Rahane? No.
If Iyer's fit, 100% him.
Yeah.
If not, Sky. If Sky doesn't perform, God knows.
Sanju.
No, but I'm already counting Sanju. Don't forget, you don't have a KL Rahul also right now.
Oh, yes.
So, again, that's why I'm saying, who's your other backup middle order bat? You don't know?
Backup to a backup, we don't know
No,
yet.
we don't know.
Yep. So let's see what happens tomorrow. We will have the T20 squad selection for the West Indies. Let's see whether we get any major surprises in that. And yeah, Shubhrantik Parekh, why Bishnoi is not in Emerging Asia Cup? Maybe he's coming to the West Indies.
I mean, Bishnoi, to be fair, has already played India. You can't be considering him an
For
emerging
an
player
emerging
anymore.
Asia Cup, exactly.
You can't consider, but maybe he might be picked for the Windies T20As. Let's see. Maybe. That's what we can say. So,
Anyway.
any other questions?
Yes, Aniket, stay tuned. We'll be covering that.
Yep. It's India versus Kuwait in the next half an hour.
Less than that, 23 minutes.
7:30. Right?
Yep, 23 minutes to go. So join us for all that. We'll be there throughout. Shane and Harshit will be giving you updates on the SAF Cup final today. Record 9th title.
Is what India
Yes.
is saying.
India are gunning
India
for.
looking
So
to defend their title as well. So it's been an interesting match. It's been an interesting conversation as well, I believe.
yes, it has
And,
been. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us. We'll be back with more updates from me, Rahul, Harshit, and Shane. It's bye-bye.